Please sip the champagne at your leisure.
It's really apple
And
juice, if
brochures
you're
are
wondering.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't worry, I spiked yours, Jill.
Yeah.
How'd you know I was going to try to sit towards the front if you would?
Fantastic.
Where there's a champagne glass.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yes, and if you could please have that sheet of paper out to take notes on, that would be wonderful. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2011 Visual Aid Grammys. I will be your host today, John Edmondson, and I will be talking about pictures as visual aids, and these are the nominees for the awards.
Hi guys, my name is Ivan Kijanta and I nominated for Best Pop Vocal Album with Props and Models.
I'm Renee Roberts, and I was nominated for Record of the Year with Graphs and Charts.
Hi, my name's Alyssa Hall, and I was nominated for Album of the Year for Audio and Video.
I'm Angie Weaver. I was nominated with Lady Antebellum for Song of the Year Nature Now using multimedia.
All right, you may all take a seat. All right, and to start off the Visual Aid Grammys, I will be talking to you today about pictures, what they are, why they are important, and how to use them correctly. Now, to start this off, pictures, as the speaker's guidebook text and reference states, consist of images that help you show your audience rather than tell them about an event, item, or place. And they consist of drawings, maps, handouts, diagrams, and posters, such as this picture right here of Jay-Z at the 2011 Grammys singing to the crowd. And the first type I will talk to you today about is diagrams, which are these right here, and they're basically like puzzle pieces. And it explains how something works, like and shows you procedures of how to like put it together like a puzzle piece. And the next type would be a map, such as this map of Canada, where I could like talk to you about like the different geographical regions, such as like a lake or a mountain. And it also can talk about a proportion of something in a different region, like compared to other regions, such as like potatoes in Idaho compared to the rest of the United States. And lastly, the other type is a poster, such as this right here, which is a two-dimensional design with words, shapes, and color placed on an opaque background, such as this plain black background right here, where I have my 3 key points right here for you guys to see and follow along with. Now, why pictures are important? Pictures are important for the audience to see rather than to be described on by what an item looks like, which is stated in this book, Information Design and Introduction by Rue Peterson. And they also help you explain your ideas more than anything, which is a key component to communicating with your audience, such as you guys. So I don't sit up here and just talk for hours and hours on that picture, such as like Jay-Z, you know, being like, oh, he was talking to the audience and getting ready to sing a song for him. You guys wouldn't really get much of a picture unless I showed you this right here, where it shows you the event and the background and what's all going on inside the picture itself. There's also such things as political cartoons or related material to that help you drive your message that you're trying to send to your audience back. And that is a key component right there to drive your message to your audience, where they understand and go out learning something and understanding what your main message was, so it's not just, you know, just a bunch of information just thrown at you. And also, pictures get you closer to reality by showing them something instead of explaining it to them because, like I said, you see the event itself happening and it almost puts you in the event while you're looking at it. And lastly from that, Rue Peterson states that people retain readily information more by sight than by hearing, which I thought was an interesting fact because really, like I said, you could go on for hours and people wouldn't understand or learn anything, but you could just show the picture and it just kind of clicks. Now, how to use these pictures correctly, when the cameras are on, you know, and they got all the artists up there, they're not sitting there all shy like this and curled up in a ball. They're standing up there and, you know, presenting themselves boldly so everybody sees them as a clear, you know, person ready to present for them. Just like you would hold up a picture to all three coordinates for everybody to see and corners of the room. Now, a picture must be relevant, of course, to your speech, so it makes sense for the audience to understand where you're trying to go with what you're holding up and showing as a visual aid. And with that picture, you want to be able to describe, explain, and maybe even just ask questions about the picture for the audience to, you know, think about it and maybe go a little more in depth with the picture you're trying to show them. And before even picking the picture, you want to drive home the message, or make sure it drives home the message so that you're not just showing something that's pointless to your audience, that they're wondering, why did he even just bring this up here? And with a map, when using a map, you want to hold it up where everybody can see it and point out like the places you're going to be talking about. Like if I was going to talk about the Northwest Territories of Canada, I would be pointing that out right up here where everybody could see it and look at the geographical region of like the lakes and the mountains. Once again, my name is John Edmondson, and I just talked to you about pictures, what they are, why they are important, and how to use them correctly. Thank you very much. And now to introduce the winner of the Best Pop Folk Album, I will bring up Ivan. Thank you, Ivan. There you are.
Thank you.
Stand up.
Hi, my name is Ivan Krijanto, and I won Best Pop Vocal Album with Props and Models. Today, I will be presenting to you about props and model. And my 3 key points are what props and models are, why props and models are important, and how to use them correctly. According to a speaker guidebook, a prop can be any live or inanimate object, a snake or a stone. For instance, that captures the audience's attention and illustrates or emphasizes key point. Prop is the subject of speech. Models can be an important and sometimes necessary aid to a presentation. A model is a three-dimensional scale-size representation of an object. Uses of props and models occur every day, all the time. Even when you're speaking with your friend, you may need to use your example of something in order to explain a situation or story better or more clearly. Other uses obviously occur in business meeting or some other type of work. Speaking of which, in the real working world, some professions that use props and models are engineers, architects, and medical workers. Examples include graphs, picture, and diagram. Pretty much anything that's an object that will help better understand. Visualize the subject like this CD music. Why they are important? They are important because they can turn in a project from being boring, like a lecture format, into an intriguing and attention-grabbing product. They are also important because they can keep the audience focused, thinking, entertained, and the presentation along. I'm going to mention some pros and cons based on props and models. Some pros are that they are attention grabbing. Like I mentioned it before, they make something complicating easier to understand. They use more sense of your body other just listening. And lastly, it provides intrinsic interest. Some cons that come with props and models can be distracting and take away the purpose and focus of the topic, including the audience itself. If it doesn't tie in directly with the topic, it can be confusing. And last, a prop can be misleading if not demonstrated or presented in the proper fashion. Now I'm going to talk about how to use them correctly. Only use the amount needed. Make sure you are talking about your topic longer than you're presenting a prop or model. Get the main objective out first and then use your prop to back it up, depending on your topic. Strategically place your prop in the beginning, middle, or end, or maybe throughout the presentation as long as it is not too much or overloading. Once again, my name is Ivan. Today I talk about props and models, and my 3 good points are what it is, why it is important, and how to use them correctly. Thanks.
Thank you for such a great speech, Ivan. All right, and second up for the record of the year, the winner is Renee. Here you are, yes.
Hello once again, I am Renee Roberts and I won Record of the Year with Graphs and Charts. I hope to inform you on what graphs and charts are, why they are important, and how to correctly use them. If you listen closely, you too can become a nominee and even a winner for Record of the Year. Just like all of my fellow nominees, getting to know what award shows are available, you have to get a general understanding of what graphs and charts are. A graph is any sort of numerical data in visual form, according to the Speaker's Guidebook. Graphs simply illustrate relationships between measurements. Graphs show trends. They have 2 axes, the x and the y. And on this graph, the x-axis runs horizontal and the y is vertically. A chart visually organizes information into a compact form. By being a statistical analysis for Lady Antebellum's Need You Now album, I have learned so much about graphs and charts. Just like a picture is worth 1,000 words, graphs and charts are worth 1,000 words as well. Graphs and charts are great visual aids because they give the listener something to look at in a condensed form. You can talk forever and ever about percentages, statistics, and numbers, but once you show a graph or a chart, suddenly everything will make sense to the audience. Graphs and charts help the audience see what you are talking about. Just like there are many types of award shows, there's like ribbon awards, and there's trophies. There are many different types of graphs and charts to choose from, and sometimes it can be difficult to find the right one. Many computers have programs where you can just plug in your information, but you want to make sure that you are using the correct graph that shows your data best. As stated in the Visual Aid in Photography in Education by Michael Langford, the 4 common types of graphs are line graphs, bar graphs, pie charts, and pictograms. Line graphs are one of the most common graphs you will encounter. They simply use a line to connect the data points, just as shown here. The second kind, the bar graph, has bars which measure the height. And as you can see, the height is measured by how tall the bars are. A pie chart compares parts to a whole. It shows a percentage. The entire pie represents the whole. The data you are measuring must depict a ratio or a percentage. You must always use the same unit of measurement within the pie. On this one, they have salaries, which all equal up to the total amount of salary. Finally, a pictogram displays a symbol which is a picture that represents an object. For small measurements, pictograms are fun and easy to look at. Just as there are different types of graphs, there are different types of charts. The three major kinds of charts are flowchart, organizational chart, and tabular chart. Flowcharts, like this one shown here, show step-by-step procedures. They can be drawn horizontally or vertically. And a lot of times you will see them and it'll say like a yes or no question, and you continue on or you end there. Organizational charts are like a chain of command, just like awards resemble different levels of importance. Like this one. And you'll encounter these if you're like drawing a family tree. A tabular chart is a systematic grouping of data or numerical information in column form, shown in this picture. With all the segments in correctly reading and making graphs and charts, I have thoroughly learned what they are, why they are important, and how to correctly use them. I hope you learn from my tips on how to put yourself in the award spotlight, and I will see you next year at the Grammys.
Thank you all for that. All right, and third up for Album of the Year is Alyssa.
Thanks, John.
Oh, of course.
Wow, it's such a great crowd tonight. Anyway, my name's Alyssa Hall, and I won Album of the Year for audio and video. I'm going to tell you what they are, why they're important, and how to use them correctly. What is an audio-visual aid? An audio-visual aid is a way to express noise as part of your speech to better represent what you're talking about. A lot of people will use iPods or could be like an iHome or even a computer like that one to show you, to express the noise as they're demonstrating it. Most noises that are necessary for speeches, some can be a singer's voice, so you could play the sound of a musician, or you could play the sounds of nature if you're doing a environmental speech. There are a lot of different ways to express it, and it could be anything from presentation, like in the noise in a presentation slideshow, or it can be, like I said, a musician, or sounds in nature, or anything that will help express clearly what you're discussing. What is a video visual aid? A video visual aid is a short clip of film that represents what you're talking about in more depth. A lot of people will make their own videos for using a digital video camera, and so it's more specifically to what they are discussing in their speech. Other people will just use YouTube as their main source for the video, because there's so many people that have already put what they're talking about online. Why is audio important? Audio important is important because it helps you understand better what someone's talking about. If for example, you are talking about a musician, then you're not gonna understand how well that person sings if you can't hear for yourself. Video is important because it helps you visually see things better, so you can clearly understand, because there's just some things that you have to see in order to understand. How to use it correctly. I came up with a idea, and it's IAR. Introduce it, appropriate time, and relevant. Just helps you remember how to use audio and video correctly. You should definitely introduce it, because if you don't introduce it, then people don't know to pay attention, and it can be hard and distracting. It should be definitely put at an appropriate time, because sometimes it can be distracting if it isn't at the right time. Like sometimes the noises in presentations can be distracting to the actual information that you're presenting. And it should be relevant. You don't want to go around doing something completely out of whack that would distract your audience. An example of improper use of audio would be playing "Who Let the Dogs Out" throughout your speech if you were doing a speech on dogs. Proper use of it would be, like I said, the sounds of nature in the environment, or a musician playing their instrument. Proper use of video would definitely be if you were doing a speech about dog shows. You could show a clip of a dog show so people could understand how it works and what it looks like and different things relevant to a dog show. Again, my name's Alyssa Hall, and I presented to you about audio and video, why it's important, what it is, why it's important, and how to correctly use it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. All right, and last but definitely not least, we have the Song of the Year, sang by Lady Antebellum, but produced by Angie.
Wow. Don't even have a speech prepared or anything. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Wow. Whew. Just not expecting this. Thank you. I'd like to thank my family and my friends, and of course, Lady Antebellum. Thank you. Thank you. But I would really like to thank Multimedia for making me a better presenter when presenting the artist with my songs. Multimedia taught me how to combine different types of media into one presentation. You have to become familiar with the presentation software, and you have to use it correctly in your speech. When I was pitching the idea to Lady Antebellum for Need You Now, I needed a little help. So I did extensive research and began to use multimedia visual aids. When combining the media, for example, sounds, pictures, stills, videos, like a DVD, text, tables, data, you combine all these great mediums into one presentation. That gives you multimedia. As stated in the guidebook, the more senses you evoke, the more memorable the event will be. That's the idea behind multimedia, right? As a songwriter, my book of songs, I have to become accustomed with developing technology. Multimedia has become increasingly popular. It's more for the audience to interact with, and it's modern, but it requires a lot more planning and time. Bringing all these mediums together smoothly, you need software, like Microsoft PowerPoint, Adobe Persuasion, or Google Docs. A very common one is PowerPoint, and becoming familiar with your software is key. When I was pitching the idea of Need You Now, I wrote a speech, but definitely needed spice to sell my idea. I love the song so much that I decided to use a PowerPoint. Right away, PowerPoint gave me 3 options. Auto Content Wizard, which gives you presentation types and mediums to use, Design Template with pre-designed templates for you to choose from, or Blank, where I could customize it any way I wanted. And I had to become familiar with the features. View options, slide masters, editing the text, slide inserts, transitions, and animations. But once I felt like I created a great PowerPoint, I decided it was time to incorporate it into my speech. At first, it was quite a bit shaky. I felt like my PowerPoint was taking over. But soon I realized that it was a visual aid and needed to be just that. Like in the guidebook, some get distracted, some hide behind it. But the focus needed to be on my song, not the glamour of a PowerPoint. I needed to use a PowerPoint for emphasis, clarity, depth, and definitely appeal. With my PowerPoint, I decided to sell the idea to Lady Antebellum. Multimedia, who knew? Hard work, a great song, and presentation software to combine different types of media for my presentation would be the reason I stand before you here tonight. So once again, I'd like to thank my family and my friends for sticking with me all this time, Lady Antebellum for watching my presentation and courageously taking a chance on my song, and, of course, the Grammys. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ladies. And can we have all of our winners come up, please? All right, and we have some questions for you. We have some questions for you. All right, I will start this off from mine. What are two types of pictures? Anybody? Yes.
Photographs and drawings.
Correct.
What is a graph?
Has an X and Y axis, and has the info. You can either line or marker.
Yep.
What is prop?
Subject and speech.
Yes.
What is an audio-visual aid?
It produces sound.
Pretty much.
Have our little showgirl here taking it out.
What is multimedia? Jill.
It's combining different media types for one presentation.
All right, and why are pictures better than telling? Yes.
They last longer in person.
Boom, there you go. Winner, winner.
All right, what do all graphs contain?
Numerical data in visual form.
Yes.
What real-world job use props and models?
Captures the audience's attention and illustrate in a present.
There you go.
Why is video important?
And audio and visual.
Yeah.
But why is it important?
It gets across points that the art reader gets across. And so if you're trying to demonstrate like a proper stroke, you could demonstrate a video showing someone using a stroke.
What are some examples of presentation software?
PowerPoint, Google Docs, and Adobe Illustrator.
All right, and where do you show your picture if you're holding it up to the audience? Maybe?
All four corners of the
Yes. Yes, good job.
All right, what are the four types of graphs?
line, bar, pie, and the graph.
Yep.
Why are props and models important?
We're into handfuls and this.
What is IAR?
I is introduce it, A is appropriate time, and R is relevant to the topic. Oh my god, I just
What is the key for using presentation software? Yes.
learning from it.
Yes.
You want to blank the message of your speech to your audience. Starts with an R. Ends with an E in force. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Good job.
All right, what are the three main kinds of charts?
Flow chart, organizational chart, and tabular chart.
Yep.
Name 3 pros.
What is that from? Your award, the book.
Okay.
What is a video visual aid?
It's normally a video clip.
Yeah.
Example of that could be what, Ariel?
Like an example of a video clip, like, when there was a presentation about the horses, she showed a clip of the horses jumping over it.
Would that be over the jump?
Yeah. Would that work?
What should a PowerPoint do? Derek?
Support your speech for PowerPoint.
All right. In order to not confuse your audience, your picture should be blank to your speech. Yes.
What do graphs make sense of? Go for it.
Percentages, statistics, and numbers.
Yep.
Why do you need example when you're speaking?
It helps provide a visual aid so you walk away.
Why is audio important?
You can just answer using common sense here. Go for it, Sam.
Hear your message.
Do what?
Hear your message.
Once again, to clarify or to give an example, confirm.
It's like the overall message of visual aids.
Now I know it's hard. We didn't have a lot of, musical artists and stuff, but who won Song of the Year? Yes!
Wow. Just give her the whole bag.
Thanks.
And once again, I am your host, John Edmondson, and I just talked to you about pictures.
And I'm Miss Ivan Kijanta, and I just talk about props and models.
I'm Renee Roberts, and I won Record of the Year with Graphs and Charts.
I'm Melissa Hall, and I won Album of the Year with audio and video.
I'm Angie Weaver. I won Song of the Year with Lady Antebellum, Need You Now with Multimedia.
And thank you all for coming out to the Visual Aid 2011 Grammys. Thanks.